Hi everyone, welcome back to the third part of this video. Here we'll be discussing about private equity. It's very rare for a chartered accountant to work in a private equity firm, and today we are very privileged to have someone who is working with the world's biggest private equity firm. We have with us CA Divyansh Jain, who is working with the Blackstone Group, and I would like to mention the fact that Blackstone very rarely hires chartered accountants for its private equity firm, and as it's very popular that a private equity firm has a really small team, so kudos to you, Divyansh, for making our profession proud by entering into the world's largest private equity. And if I'm not wrong, you are the second chartered accountant in the last 15 to 20 years that Blackstone has had, right?
Yeah, that's true. But you're
That's
just being sweet
amazing.
as at the right place and the right time.
No, that's really amazing, Divyansh, and you really deserve that. So, Divyansh, let's break down the term private equity. So, what exactly is private equity?
Private equity is basically managing the funds of large institutions, sovereign funds, global insurance firms, so pension funds. So these are very large funds. Let's say in New York, there's a very large pension funds for the police officers. Then at the same time, there are large funds of the sovereign wealth funds, the government funds. So ultimately, someone needs to look after it and protect that money, and you need to invest it. So private equity firms come in over here. They raise funds from these global other institutions, and then they manage that money. They charge some asset management fee, and then they get a carry on the profits that they've generated above a hurdle rate on the funds that they've invested. So that is the kind of a structure at which a private equity firm plays it, and then they invest this money in private companies as well as public companies, and so that's been the basics of it. Yeah.
Great. So, Divyansh, private equity is something of a very glamorous profile, right? So, we are very excited to know, like, how does your average day look like? What kind of work are you expected to do when you enter into one of these private equity firms?
So in a private equity firm, I think there are two work streams that every analyst associate works on. One is definitely the investing side, and one is managing the operations of it. Some PE funds have a very broad distinction. Okay, there's one investing team and there's one operations team. At Blackstone, we have a one team where we do everything. We invest at the same time we operate the company itself. So there's a bit of an overlap for the analyst associate program, and that's I think that actually increases our learning as well. So we happy very happy about it as well. So our average week, there's some, let's say if you are evaluating a deal, you got some IM and a business model from a banker about some asset that is publicly available for a sale. So you're looking at it, you have to basically do some financial analysis and some industry and company analysis, and put together thoughts about what you think about the company and where this company can go, let's say 5 years onwards. And if you buy, what are the results that the firm would look at, and then you brainstorm where you present this to your seniors, and then probably if you want to go ahead or not, this is what you decide in a week. At the same time, if you, let's say you decide that you are going ahead with it, then there'll be a 1 month long diligence, and then you will hire one of the likes of MBBs for a commercial diligence, one of the likes of the big fours for a financial diligence. You'll have to ask the right questions, and then after a month probably go back to the committee and decide whether you want to invest in the company or not. So this 1 month diligence phase is very intense, but otherwise, basically, this is what life is. The on the other hand, on the operation side, there are some companies that you've already bought, let's say, and you need to make sure that you're getting the right MIS reports, whether the company is whether it's performing as per expectations or not, as per plans or not, as per projections or not. And then there are some tweaks and that you always have to do when you're running a company. So you know just look at the macro day-to-day operation, not at a granular level, but at a top level, whether the company is on the right track for success or not. So you just you need to look at two things. There are also times where you're actually selling a company from, let's say, one P fund to another, or one P fund to a strategic. So that is the third aspect to it, when you have to sell a company that's already in your portfolio. Other than that, I think I mean, this just summarizes most of it. Yeah.
Right. I think there's a rule of 1 is to 100 that I've heard about in the private equity sector, is that you receive applications of 100 companies that you can invest in. After doing your due diligence, you understand that there are 10 companies you are investable. And after doing further due diligence, you invest in one of those companies. So that is the kind of ratio that one has to go through, right? So the work is immense. You actually analyze 100 companies, then you further analyze 10 companies out of those 100 companies, and then you invest into one after doing all sorts of due diligence.
Yeah, that's true. So at our level, I think the beauty of it is that you learn about 100 companies in a year, and I think you learn about 100 companies in at least 10 sectors. So after maybe that's why it's very intense, and but the learning curve is also very steep.
Right. So, Divyansh, how can one enter into this profile? Because private equity has one of the highest entry barriers in the world, right? And although it's very tough to enter into one, and you have entered into one, so what are the different routes through which one can enter into a private equity?
Uh, See, for an analyst associate position, I think the routes that I've seen people take are normally coming from an investment banking or a consulting role. That's these two are the most common paths. From from consulting also background as well. I think mostly I've seen engineers get into these positions, but there are some PE funds that have started hiring CAs also from these leading consulting firms. So these are the major routes, and then beyond that, I don't think, because the problem with these PE funds are very small teams, and there are only 8 to 10 global PE funds that have an office in India, and these funds come out with one or max two positions a year. So in India, let's say there are all in all 8 to 10 PE positions that are available every year, and everyone from a consulting to an investment banking background applies for these positions. At sometimes there are some who apply from an equity research analyst position as well, and maybe some folks who are already from an investment background, and they're also from already an investing background in a smaller PE fund who are applying for these bigger PE funds. So this is the background that you're looking at, and from this set, there are at least 8 10 positions that need to be filled. So that's the challenge, but this is all in all these are the ways that one can get into a PE fund. Uh, in terms of skill sets and requirements, I think tier one education, like I've mentioned before, these guys really value on your educational background, and they just want to hire the best of best. Beyond education, I think different PE funds have different factors that they really give a lot of weight to. Some B funds really look at financial modeling and have a proper weekend financial modeling round as well, where they'll tell you to build a financial model for company. Then at the same time, some firm will give you a case study to solve, and like at Blackstone, we had a written test. So that was just to we check the basic business acumen and aptitude of a person. So the different gating conditions at these different PE funds, but you'll have to check through this laundry list of items, and then probably you can crack one. Yeah.
And how can a CA fresher enter into these roles?
I don't think I've seen us as a CA fresher enter into PE. So I think I had the opportunity to get an offer from Bearing India Partners right after my CA. I think, and one of my our fellow friends. So I think that's one route. I think, but that's very rare, and I don't think they do that every year as well. And but other than that, there are hardly any positions available for direct CA freshers to join, at least not a bulge bracket PE fund. But there are other smaller Indian funds that you can probably join as a CA fresher, and then you can maybe walk your way into a bigger PE fund. But that is also not an easy thing and not a given thing.
So, Divyansh, let's say that someone is being called for a private equity firm interview, right? So, what are the relevant preparation tips that you would give them so that they can ace their interview? And how is the entire process like?
I think for a PE interview, what I would say is definitely, like you discussed, you need to know how to analyze a company very well. So if you trade, you should know your stocks very well. You should know your stocks in and out, and why you believe in the stock, why do you believe in industry, why you believe in a company, why you believe in a management, why do you believe in an economy at a macro level. So these are things that one would talk about. It's a mix of an investment banking and a consulting interview, because on one hand we'd see how well you can structure a problem and solve it, and at the same time you will be see whether you have that financial acumen as well. So it's P is where these two different work streams marry together, and then that's how you're analyzed. So I think I would suggest read a lot about finance, read a lot about financial concepts, read about in different industries you're interested in. You don't have to read about every industry. but the ones you're really interested in and the ones you've actually had some work experience on. Let's say you come from investment banking or a consulting background, they would ask for what kind of cases you've done. And then you'd be asked to speak on it, and then they will ask you to walk you through it, and then they'll give you situations and scenarios about it. So you'll have to be very thorough about it. You can't fake it. So just make sure that people over here who are interviewing you are actually just admit that they're smart. So don't try to fake it and be genuine, because these guys don't like pretentiousness. And if you're genuine, you know your subject, and you can do basic math well. I don't think you need anything else other than that. Yeah. And if you're coming from a consulting or a banking background, you have the basic field. You've crossed the gating conditions anyway in terms of communication skills, presentability, soft skills, all of that.
I mean, I have personally gone through the Blackstone's hiring process, and it was right back then when I just qualified my CA, right? And when I was called over there,
Right.
so they have this intro round where they tell you about the role and stuff. And when I looked at the peers who were also there, I mean, it was so overwhelming for me. I felt like a black sheep among the herd because I was just there as a CA fresher, and all the peers over there who are going to interview for these roles had like amazing experience in maybe investment banking from the big bulge bracket firms, or maybe management consulting from the MBBs of the world, right? So that is the kind of crowd that people are competing for this role, and then only one or two of them, maybe I think only one of them gets hired per year, right? And only one of them gets hired. So that is the kind of a process that goes through it. So definitely you need to work hard. And the second thing is that I think they have an exam. Firstly, the first process is that you give an exam, you fare out well in the exam, you send your CV, and the process is usually like when you get called for an interview, it's a result of both your CV as well as your exam score, right? And then in the interview, as Divyansh has already mentioned, how you can prepare for the interview. It's all about being well prepared for the interview, knowing your stuff, doing your homework, and making sure that you create an impact in the interview, right? So that the interviewer remembers your name. He knows that, yeah, Divyansh Jain came to this interview. He said so things. He was able to answer this, and he was able to make an impact on me. So I will remember Divyansh Jain, and I think that is the ability that you need to have to stand out in the interview among the crowd.
Yeah, so I think one more thing is normally in these P funds, these are very small teams. So it's very important that so you interview to everyone in the team, and only if it's a unanimous yes, only then you get hired. So it's important to consistently perform well, and it's often there are times where it's not your day, and so this is where the luck factor also comes in. That for all 8 9 interviews you have to do well, and you so. And normally, anyone who's applying for PE interviews normally is not just applying for one firm; he's applying for he or she's applying for multiple firms. So it's just that you're in that phase where you would face some discouragement as well. So it's important to keep yourself very strong and positively motivated that you are giving your best. And sometimes luck will not always be on your side. Sometimes it would be, sometimes it won't be. So it's just that no one or two job or position can actually make or break or define your career or yourself. So just not hold these things too strongly or emotionally to you, but make sure you are trying your best.
So Divyansh, let's address the elephant in the room again. Private equity is known also not only for its glamorous role, but also it's a really high paying job, right? So what's the industry standard pay like in private equity?
Yeah, so at PE firms normally, I should not be saying this was all confidential information, but I mean, just as a motivator, I think the industry does pay well and it can vary a lot. The bonus amount is a lot, and that's why folks also work very hard and are motivated to work hard beyond the limits. So normally for global PE funds, it's a different standard. For Indian PE funds, it's a different standard. If you're one of the larger global PE funds, inclusive of your bonus, you might earn anything between around let's say around 80 to 1 in a year, and in an Indian PE fund you would, let's say, earn around 40 to 60 in a year, I think. So I think with I think that does come. I think a higher pay is a part of this career, but at the same time they also demand a lot in terms of time, and it's a bit stressful.
Thank you so much, Divyansh, for sharing your valuable experiences with us. It was a really insightful conversation with you. Personally, as a friend, I'm really proud of you for all that you have achieved in such a young age, and I wish you many, many more success in the future.
Thanks, Jay, and all the best to you also. And just thank you for doing this, taking this initiative, and helping out these folks who are actually sometimes clueless and just want some guiding factor, some experienced person talking about their relevant experiences and sharing. It does not have to be a positive, but can be a negative experience also, so that you can learn from their mistakes as well. And I've had these fair share of learnings from my seniors as well. And thanks for taking this initiative and creating this platform for all. It's a very genuine thing to do.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Jen.
much, Divyansh. That means a lot to me. I hope these videos will help you make an informed decision on your career choices and help you also prepare for these roles. We have discussed how to crack investment banking and management consulting in the previous parts of this video. So if you haven't watched it yet, the link will appear in the suggestion box above. Do comment down below for any queries. Either Divyansh or me would be happy to reply to them. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you next time.